So yesterday we saw about abstract class, right? What is an abstract class? How it helps us implement different classes can implement the abstract class and give new meaning for the methods that are declared in the abstract class. So we'll today see what is interface. So before going to that interface, we saw some problem previously, right? With the class, one class extending two class. What was the problem we saw? So this is possible. Single inheritance is possible. Multi-level inheritance is possible. At least one class can go and extend the another class continuously like this. Hierarchical, this is also possible. Two classes can extend one class. But what is the problem with doing something like this? Right? Doing something like this. Why can't one class extend two class?
Because it
When
Okay, anyone can go. Sagar, you were answering, right?
yeah, because it is still supporting multiple inheritance. That's why.
But why not multiple inheritance? What's the problem with doing that?
Because suppose if class A and class A have some declared method, and class B, if class B have same type of method, then if I extend those these two classes from class C, it will create a conflict.
Yes, right. Until you were saying something.
the same thing, Karthik.
Okay. So, yeah.
I have one
Okay.
question, Karthik, basically
Yes, Sagar.
about the practical application of this abstract class.
Mhm.
So in the entire framework of Selenium, where I can use these abstract classes.
It is not kind of related to only Selenium. What I'm trying to suggest is like you can have different implementations of one particular class. For example, abstract class can be used anywhere. What can I say?
Yeah, actually,
Uh,
I am
oh,
developing a framework.
no.
So that's what I am thinking, like where I can use abstract class so that it will be useful to design our framework.
So abstract can be used when you have a scenario where there are 3 4 implementations of same method, right? A
Mm.
similar thing is a interface, right? For example, we are saying driver, WebDriver is called new Chrome driver, right? Why we are saying like something like that? For example,
Because I am assign Chrome driver object to the instance of WebDriver.
but what is a WebDriver? Can you say?
WebDriver is an interface
Why
which
you are
is
doing something
basically,
like that?
yeah, basically in WebDriver there are why we are I mean assigning, because WebDriver has some predefined methods which is find elements, which we will use through by Chrome driver object, because Chrome driver will use this find element and find elements methods, which is already predefined and assigned methods,
Okay,
and it wants
but
to, and Chrome driver will
we also need to understand that find elements method definition is not given in the interface, right?
definition is not given, because every browser has their own property of defining the methods. That's why it has been, the WebDriver has only been given declare the methods which is find element and find elements. Now Chrome driver will implement itself their find elements method through remote WebDriver.
Yes.
So that's why we are assigning, we are actually pointing to the Chrome WebDriver interface.
You
and
can do
assigning.
something like this also, right? This will
Sorry.
also work.
Yes.
Yes. But what's the purpose of doing something is like they are enforcing you to implement certain methods. That's the whole
Exactly.
point. Similarly, you asked it whenever you wanted to, when I wanted to use this abstract class
Mm,
in our framework. Abstract class is similar to interface, right? For example, there may be some specific implementations which you wanted to do in your class, and those implementations are specific only to your class, but there may be a number of classes like this. Uh, for example, let's say,
Karthik,
huh?
can I pitch in?
Yes, Shiva.
Yeah, I think Sagar, whatever you said is right. What basically the abstract classes or the interfaces is the dummy classes, right? So we are only using those to enhance our inheritance concepts, right?
mhm,
So whatever we are using as a dummy classes, but we are not implementing them, right? The
mm,
actual implemented comes in the interface, or the inherited abstract classes, right? So those are the methods of whatever we are declaring in the classes. We just
mm,
in a dummy kind of an sake we are using there, but the actual implementation or multiple implementation or our own implementation can done in our own classes, right? So whichever the inheritance, the multiple inheritance which Java was not giving us, so we are using those on the basis of abstract classes and inheritance, right?
mm.
So uh, that's all I with my knowledge. So it's only the dummy implementations, right? The actual implementation is only done in our local side of it,
Oh,
right?
that is okay. I mean, I get your point. Actually, my question was like when I'm designing a framework, I was thinking that where I can implement abstract class. What for class when I we declare? What where should we declare so that we can utilize this abstract class when I'm designing a Selenium framework? Suppose for any website or any web application. That was my question.
See, actually, I'll
Okay.
show you simple example. Um, See, this is the actual automation project we are working on. All right, you are able to
Mhm.
see the screen. Right?
Yes.
Here we declare this class as abstract, right? But you see there are no abstract methods here actually. Right?
Mhm.
Only one abstract class declaration is there. There are no abstract methods here. But what's the
Right.
purpose of doing something like this? This class gives some basic methods, uh, which are actions which we do over the object, right?
Right.
Right. Uh, Getting the web driver, or let's say, yeah, giving the timeout and wait for an element, file upload,
Mhm.
right? So these are generic actions which we perform over the particular web page, right?
Yes.
So what we are
Yes.
doing, we are extending that class through this class called UI interaction steps, and I am extending this UI interaction steps in the class called journey email config steps. So you were asking, right? This journey email config steps is a particular page object model. Page object model, I hope you know, like, because
Yes.
yeah, you know, right? One particular page will have all the objects captured, and you can.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
So I'm capturing all the objects here, right, for the particular page.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
as you're using page object model, yeah, and yeah, okay, okay, I got it.
So what we are trying to do is like, for example, if I wanted to have some specific implementation for this alone, for this journey email is kind of a page which we have in our web application. What
Mhm.
if I want to do some action for this page alone? What can I do is like I can go to this. This is actually a framework actually. Wait.
Mhm.
What I can do is like I can go to this page object.
Mhm.
I can create some abstract method, and I can implement that abstract method in this particular journey email config steps.
Okay.
So in that way, what happens is like I'm enforcing something there, and I will know for sure I will implement this journey email config steps here.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it will give me two things. It will enforce something which will be always needed for this particular page object to execute.
Mm.
Second, if I have one more page like this, one more page like journey email page. I have one more page like navigation and marketing email footer settings. And if it has different implementation of the same action, for example, it may be in journey email page have to wait for element for 10 seconds, and there's a special case where in a domain verification I have to wait for element for 30 seconds.
Mhm.
So I can
Right.
override the method there, wait method there, and wait for 30 seconds.
Right. Okay.
So this is how
So those are the, so as per my understanding, Karthik, like whatever the uh, methods which we use commonly to the entire framework, entire for website, that is the best practice is to keep those in abstract class. And
one thing is common method. Second thing is one second thing, an important thing is if it has some different implementations for different classes.
okay, yes, right.
Those are the two things.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry that
No,
I'm
no,
digging into more.
no. It's totally
No.
good to ask all these questions.
Yeah, so that's why I was just thinking like where I can implement abstract classes in
See,
my
I showed
framework.
some abstract classes. Right? You may declare that abstract, may not declare that abstract. Right? It is
Yes.
optional. But why you are declaring that abstract? In future, if some enhancements comes, I can declare some abstract method there. I can force my page to use that abstract method. It's kind of a good programming practice, basically. Right?
Correct.
Same goes for interface actually, but with
Right.
only one small difference. I'll create a package itself.
So basically what I have done, like I have created interfaces and I am using this click functionality, click, then enter, keyboard enter, this type of sort of
Yes, 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 yes.
I mean small functions we are I am using in interface and I'm implementing for in different classes.
Yes, yes, right. As you said previously, maybe I'll try to. So as you said, this WebDriver is an interface, right? Actually, this particular find elements is there in interface called search context. Actually,
Yes.
this search context only this interface is extending. This WebDriver interface is extending, right? And it is giving us some predefined methods, get title, and there are no implementations, right? Actually, these implementations are provided by the classes which is extending it. There is one class called remote web driver.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen those things, right? Which is
Yes.
implementing this web driver, and which
Yeah.
will implement some of its methods.
Basically all the web drivers like Chrome, Firefox, those all web drivers basically extending remote web driver only. So the actual implementation is happening in remote web driver.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
yeah, as you have already shown that basically remote web driver, we can say that it is kind of abstract class, which is, and Chrome driver, Firefox, uh, Edge
Yeah,
driver,
it
those
can extend and it can override that method also.
exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Basically, it is doing like that only.
Yes, yes. And I have a Chrome driver class which will extend this remote web driver class, and it may override, may not override, depending upon say it is overriding some method, right?
Correct.
See, that is basically the idea. But why we need to define this WebDriver as interface, right? Only because of one reason, as two reasons. One is all this method has to be compulsorily implemented. We are enforcing certain coding discipline. Second thing is this the implementation may be different for different browsers.
It is what I think, like if it is not necessary to implement those uh, I mean predefined functions, we can use that remote web driver is equal to new Chrome
Yeah,
driver.
we can use that also. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but generally we'll be needing all those functions.
Yeah, right.
So we don't usually do that.
If we know that we will use these specific functions, then we can write remote WebDriver
Yes,
drivers.
yes, we can do that also.
Will solve our purpose.
Yes, right. So the interface was only coming into picture when there's a concept we already we kind of discussed, right? When there are two classes, the multiple inheritance concept, which has same methods, and there is only one class which are extending. It's not possible in through classes, but it's possible through interface. For that also, interface is kind of necessary. We'll see some example. Yes.
Karthik, I'm a little bit confused here what Sagar asked and what you replied for like abstract classes, where we can use two different methods. Like you said, we can extend for 30, if we have to wait for 30 seconds, we can use different method. And if we have to wait for 10 seconds, we can use same method in different class. So aren't we combining here abstract and polymorphism in the same thing?
Abstract class is a type of polymorphism actually. Polymorphism is not only one programming methodology, right? You can implement polymorphism through a number of things. Abstract class is one type of polymorphism, interface is one type of polymorphism. So what we said about that overriding, it's a runtime polymorphism, right? What is basically overriding? We are kind of there is one method defined in a parent class. We are overriding through the subclass by calling its constructor, even though object is declared for the parent class. Right? Maybe I have that example. Yes, this example only, right? This print employee details method is available in the employee class. And this engineering employee basically extends this and it's overridden. What's overriding is changing its value, right? Same thing only we are doing for abstract class also, right? What abstract class we are doing? We are having this particular class called, let's say, shape. We are having this particular get number of sites, which is an abstract method. And rectangle, what we are doing, we are overriding it. Here we are overriding it, right? Returning 4. We didn't give any definition here, but what it is doing, we are actually overriding it only, right? Now what we are saying shape is equal to new rectangle. Same way in what we did for this employee and engineering employee, right? For testing this class, what we did, we just said employee is equal to new engineering employee, right? Or employee is equal to new skills, right? So we are overriding the print method in the employee through this skills class by calling its constructor, right? Same thing only we are doing for the shape also. We are declaring some method here, but we are overriding it and returning 4 here. And in particular example called triangle, we are overriding it and returning 3 here. Two different implementations. It is also polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. So you can compare this with the analogy of the wait method. Let's say this is a wait method, and I can wait for 30 seconds. I can return in rectangle. I can wait for 40 seconds. I can return in triangle.
Yeah, got it, Karthik.
So abstract class is also one type of implementation of polymorphism.
Got it.
And some other was asking some other question also.
Karthik, it's Shiva here.
Hi Shiva.
With regarding that, the WebDriver, like the instance we create, right? Object for that. Actually.
Yes.
You showed us stating that the Chrome driver also we can use it. So
Yes,
technically, is that whatever the methods declared inside the WebDriver or methods declared in the Chrome driver, we are trying to access them. That's it, right?
Yes, right.
by creating the driver object,
Mhm.
and we're trying to access the methods implementations of
Mhm.
either it is WebDriver or it is Chrome driver, right?
Yes, yes,
That's it, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
See, maybe I have this example. I think I'll show. Mhm. Okay. Mhm. See, I have this driver, right? I have declared this as a web driver. I can even change this as to a Chrome driver as well. Now, if you go for this driver options, right? So what you are getting options which are available in the. I hope you are able to see this remote web driver and this Chrome, right?
Yeah, Karthik, I
Why,
see.
why we are getting this remote web driver? Because Chrome driver class is extending this remote web driver, and as we saw in the inheritance concept, we can access the base class method even though we declare object for the child class, right? So we don't have methods for this web driver. Can you see? Only remote web driver and Chrome driver methods are there. Can you see the
Yeah,
type here?
yeah.
Yeah. So this is also possible, but this is kind of a discipline only to say WebDriver is called Chrome driver because it enforces you to do all those things which are there in the WebDriver. That's the basic idea. Okay. I kind of like this session. At least people are asking questions. Okay, let's see this interface. Right. So now I can go and create an interface itself, new interface. Let's say this interface name is communication. Right. And you can say I cannot have my interface as private and protected. Doesn't make any sense, right? To interface declare interface as private and protected because what's interface, it will have only method which are declared. You cannot define a method inside interface. Let's say public string get communication name.
Karthik, what I am remembering, like we can uh, give some implementation inside interface through a keyword. I
Yes,
think.
yes. Actually, I didn't want to touch that because it came from after Java 8 or 9, I think.
Sorry.
I just wanted to don't touch those things and confuse right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So let's say I just wanted to implement some implement this interface through some class. Okay? That is possible. Let's say I have this communication type has WhatsApp. Let's say it's WhatsApp. Let's click on finish. So what I will do is like I'll just implement this interface. right? So once you do that, then it will automatically forces us to implement all those methods which are available in the interface, as you can see here, right? So I have to mandatorily do this. So what I can do, I can, let's say, I'll return a text called chat. Communication type as media, right? Okay, what if I wanted to implement one more class? I can do that also. Let's say this is Facebook. So again, it is automatically asking us to enforce these methods. We'll return something. Let's say social networking. Right. Let's say creating posts. Again, to test this out, I can have a main method anywhere, right? Let's say I have my main method in this class itself. So what I'll do, I can go and create something like this, similar to what we did in abstract class. Communication com is equal to new. Let's say WhatsApp. Right. Again, same thing. Com dot get communication name. Let's do a sys out. And I can do the same thing here. Again, we all know these things. Right? We saw so many examples of this. Again, what's the purpose of doing this? Also, we discussed, right? To force the implementations, all those things. So what we'll do, we'll try to run this program. Again, two different implementations, two different outputs. So now, can we see some correlation between abstract class and this interface? There's an abstract class, there's an interface, then what's the difference?
Interface is an 100% abstraction. And
That's it. That's the only difference. So purpose of doing something with the interface is like you have achieved 100% abstraction. That's it. You can achieve the same thing with the abstract class itself. This was one of the interview questions which I got two, 3 times also. Right. So how you achieve an interface kind of concept with an abstract class? Declare everything in the abstract class as abstract methods. Right.
Well, another example I can say, like I cannot extend multiple abstract classes. I can implement multiple interfaces also.
Yes, you cannot extend two abstract classes or two classes for anything, but I can, yeah, implement two interfaces. We'll see that example also. Right. Let's say we have one more interface called
Karthik,
yes.
while we are at this communication class, the interface,
Uh-huh.
okay, I have a doubt.
Okay.
With respect to this interface, okay, as everyone was saying, like, yeah, interface gives you 100% of abstraction,
Mhm.
and here we can't we can't do any implementation, like we can't do any implementation, right? It's only declaration, right?
Yes, sure. Actually, you can have static and default methods interfaces. Sagar pointed out that previously. You can have static and default methods, but generally we don't do that. Right?
Okay.
But generally, what's the purpose of doing interfaces? Like to achieve 100% abstraction. Maybe we'll discuss about static and default methods interface little later. But generally, even now, even in our development project also, we don't declare anything in the interface. To show you an example, maybe this is a very simple. Well, let's create this. I'll show you an example. So for every service, we have this some method called service IM. For example, uh, this webhook is a service, all right. You can have for every service we have a service implementation. Service is some kind of methods where you will perform some action, right? You remember that as a service. For example, we have webhook service interface. We declared all these methods. We didn't have a default or static methods here, right? Maybe I'll show even one better example. We have something called campaign service. Yes. See how many methods we have declared, right? More than 20 methods, I think, right? So why we are doing something like this? I cannot. I can even write my code without declaring these methods also. I'm implementing all these things in a class called campaign service IMPL, right? Which is implementing this campaign service, and we are defining all these methods some meaning, right? So we are doing something. We are implementing all these methods actually. Let's say I have a method called copy and edit. So you have this copy and edit method, right? So what it will do if I don't do some implementation, let's say I'll comment this out. Okay, it's taking time to update. It is okay. It updated, I think. Yeah. So it is throwing me an error, right? So in this kind of large projects like this, it is always good to have everything in abstract class, because now it's throwing an error here, say, hey, you didn't do something here. So it's always good practice. Because of that good programming practice only, we are doing something like that in large projects also. We don't usually kind of give definitions here in our interface. Right, sure.
Yeah, Karthik. Thank you.
Now
Karthik, can you once move to the Facebook class? I just
okay,
want.
let's rename this as well. Let's rename this as WhatsApp. And this as FB. To give
Okay.
better clarity.
Yeah.
Fine, Anju.
Yeah.
Okay. So what if I have this communication, right? What if I have this same communication name here as well, in social as well, same method. And what I'll do, I'll just in this particular, maybe in the Facebook class itself, I will implement this communication as well as social, right? I can do something like this also. Now it is not throwing me any error because I already implemented this git communication name method inside this Facebook itself, right? If I have one more additional method, maybe some different additional method, example public void print something, right? Then it will throw an error because I haven't implemented any method here, any print method here. Let's comment this out. So now what happens? This communication interface also has this get communication method. This social also has this get communication method. Yeah, we are implementing both the things, but we are having only one definition. That is how we solve this ambiguity problem of this multiple inheritance, right? But if you extend some two classes like this, what happens? Definition of those methods are already can already be given in that particular thing, what to say, particular in class, right? Which you are extending this parent class. Let's say the social and communication are class, because this is an interface. You are not defining anything, but assume that this is a class. You can give a meaning to this communication name method, right? And you can override that here. But which override method will take? You can give a meaning here as well and here as well. But when you are extending it and you are overriding that method, from which class it will take? Either it has to take either from communication or from social, right? But Java doesn't know, because it is seeing both the things, so it creates some ambiguity. And because of that ambiguity, we don't know what to do, in which class to use. Then we are, because of that purpose only, we are not allowing multiple inheritance. But in case of interface, it is okay, because we are not giving a method definition here. We are only declaring here. So method definitions are always given by this implementing class, right? So it is kind of okay in the interface. Right, everyone?
Yeah, Karthik.
Okay. So I can okay, I can have this print method also. Now it will ask me to implement that method. I can do some set. And one more thing also we can notice is like, for example, this interface. Let's create one class called Facebook parent. Let's say in this particular class I'm handling some user ID password details, string user ID, string password, and I'm creating some constructor here, default constructor, and I'm creating some argumented constructor. You can create argumented constructor this way also in Eclipse. Actually, you can go to source and you can give generate constructor using fields. This is very useful actually. So now it will generate a constructor for us using any one field or no fields or both the fields also. Give both the fields. So generating the constructor. It will defaultly call super. Super will go to this object class called object. Every class in Java extends this object class implicitly. We know, right? This object class, super class to every class. We don't want this super. I can delete this. It's optional. So now what I'll do, I'll have some method here. Let's say okay. So what I can do in this particular Facebook class, I can do something this also. I can combine extends and implements keyword also, right? So this particular Facebook class extends this Facebook parent and implementing this communication and social, right? Now I can safely override whatever I have in this Facebook parent, and whatever I can implement whatever they are in the social. So that is also possible, right? So I can override like this here, right? That is also possible. And same inheritance concepts apply here also. If I use extend, I can use public and protected methods or objects. They're getting it right. I cannot extend another class here. Put a command extend another class here. It will not allow, right? You can extend one class, but you can go on implement a number of interfaces like this. Fine.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. And one more thing which is also possible is like I can have one more interface called parent interface. Um, I'm going to mandate print credentials, some method like this to everything. For example, if I extend this parent interface, then again this is showing some error, right? We have to implement those methods also, right? Print credentials, we have to implement those methods also if we extend this, right? So I can extend an interface through another interface. So by extending, what we are trying to do, we are trying to implement all the methods available in all the interface which are in the extends hierarchy. By this, we will have separation of concerns. This parent interface methods will have some kind of methods which are related to some other implementation or some other purpose, and this communication will have some other purpose. But our purpose implementing class should have all these implementation. That's the final goal, as we saw in this WebDriver example, right? WebDriver is extending some interface, right? It's extending some interface called search context. So what we are trying to enforce, the search context find element and find element should be always mandatory everywhere. So that is a constraint which we are enforcing by extending the search context and having the separation of concerns. So that is also there. I wanted to quickly show one more thing also actually. Let's say if you go and right click in the source, you have generate toString, right? It will ask for all the fields in that particular class which toString has to be generated. Let's say I will use user ID and password. I click on generate, right? It will defaultly create something like this. Let's try to test this out. I have my main class here. Let's try to delete all these things, and we'll try to create a object for only that Facebook parent actually. And I'll pass the constructor here, constructor values here, user ID and password. Let's say username is admin and password is pass123. There's going to be something which is going to happen if I print this object itself. Let's try to run this method, run this particular class. Now it's printing something, right? It's saying Facebook parent, hey, username is equal to admin, password is equal to pass123. So what we are doing here is like there is something called toString method which is available in the object class actually. It will show. Okay. So we have this toString method which is available in the object class. As we saw previously, every class will inherently extend this to an object class, right? So it's kind of declaring explicitly something like this extends object, right? It is similar to doing something like this. So what we are doing, we are trying to implement, override this toString method here by giving it as a new definition. So whenever you override toString method and give some values here, whenever you print the object itself, the toString method of that particular class will be called. Without this toString method, let's say let's comment this out, and if you try to run the same program, it is printing the address location where this particular object resides in the memory. It is not printing the actual values, right? So whenever you want to print some actual values, it is kind of very useful actually, this toString. You just have to override this toString, give some meaningful definitions here. And if you try to run this particular program, Then I will see whatever that is available in the toString that is printed. You see the return type is string, right? And whatever we ask them to print, it will print. That's one of the main purpose of toString. You can print the object itself. Right, everyone?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, Karthik. Can you tell me once where these values, user ID and password, are coming from for Facebook parent?
User ID and password coming from here only, right? We are declaring here user ID and password. And we initialize that object here, right? Initialize that object admin and pass123.
Yeah, the main class I was asking. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Now this user ID and password are going and setting here, and we are printing the same using the toString method.
ठीक है.
Okay. So I hope this majority of the concepts which we saw in the last 2 weeks are clear, because these are only the important concepts. Importantly, this inheritance concept, where we have the single multi-level hierarchical inheritance and different use cases, having private, public, protected, and this abstract class, this interface, how we can extend one interface to another interface, how we can implement multiple interface, how we can solve this ambiguity problem which we get in class, which will not occur in this interface, and all those things. This is also one typical example of dynamic polymorphism and method overriding. Right. So we saw all those things. I hope everything is fine. We will start from Monday with a concept called encapsulation. That is also kind of very used, widely used thing in Java. We might have used it, but we might have not known it. That's it. We'll start with encapsulation from Monday, right? So we'll wrap up the session today. Anyone has any other question?
Nothing from my end.
Okay. I hope the sessions continues like this interactive way, because every time I'm talking and kind of, if I'm not getting any reply, it's kind of not good, right?
Okay, we will try to shoot questions, as many as we can.
Thank you. And even I like that.
Yeah, Karthik, one question from my end. Like, so when you are giving some demonstration here for like this interface, abstract classes, then and so many different things you have already described. So accordingly, parallelly, if you also give an description like how can we use and implement this in our Selenium framework.
Okay.
If you give a little bit example in your practical framework also, it will be easy for us to map also. I mean, it's easy for me also.
Yes,
to
I
map
get it. We'll do, Sagar. We'll do from the next session. Right? Maybe I'll show my framework itself, and we'll try to do an analogy, comparison by comparison.
Right. Today, just you have declared, you have shown that how you have used this abstract class. So I got some idea, and I can also implement it in my framework also. It's very useful.
Yeah, sure. I get it. We'll do that. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Anchal, Shiva, Vinay, can we close this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Karthik. Are we meeting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're meeting tomorrow, 3 p.m.
Okay.
for QA
Yeah,
discussion.
it's more. It will be Q&A, right?
Yeah.
The topic for this week.
Right.
Okay, Karthik. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Karthik.